Starting to the bottom left of the map in red, our Terran player. A dream come true. He is.
SK Telecom T1 Fantasy.
And that would have been a good intro for reality, not really for fantasy.
Yeah. Well, you know, he's up against the Startail player in blue to the bottom right. He is...
Startail Avenge.
Yeah. Fantasy is just kind of like this thing that you want to have. You know that maybe you could have it one day, but you probably won't. And you know, you think about it from time to time. You know, sometimes you tell your friends about it when you've had too much to drink, but you're never really going to go through with it. That's fantasy.
This time with the barracks opening, and for Avenge we have now, of course, the gateway here. Not starting with the Nexus first this time. Red City, another big 4-player map. The gas goes down for fantasy regardless, though.
Yeah, again, going for the gas, just not quite as quick this time. For these positions, though, it's again good for fantasy if he wants to go for that same type of drop play. It would be very ironic if Avenge goes for a risky build again and just falls prey to this.
We're with the double assimilator now, probably gonna for the 2 and 2. Yeah. And I really want to see if Fantasy is executing the same build. That would be really interesting to observe, because in the last game you really got a bit lucky with this. I mean, the Widow Mines, when you have nothing to detect them, they're going to do so much damage, and even the late pull on the Widow Mines worked in favor of Fantasy. 17 Harvesters killed with just the first 2 attacks. That's quite something.
We have a Reaper for Fantasy, so this is going to be a great way for him to scout and also see any tech that Avenge might want to put off of one base. And the workers pass each other, so he knows the position now, so he can send his Reaper very quickly and carefully across. And he's going to avoid the probe with the Reaper so that he can not only get in there and scout, but maybe do some damage, maybe surprise him a little bit. I like that a lot.
SV, of course, now also in the main base. Both of them getting the scout off perfectly here, and the probe is not going to see anything. Oh, except for the Reaper.
That was kind of weird that he sent the Reaper originally on a different path and then switched it.
But the probe really didn't see anything at all. Didn't even go up the ramp, so he doesn't know about the reactor. He knows nothing.
Yeah, he does not know anything except there was gas.
Yeah, exactly. He knows there's a Reaper, so there has to be gas, but he didn't see anything on top of the ramp. He didn't know that there's a reactor now coming his way. Can only assume what kind of build is going to follow after this.
Reaper not even going to be able to take a single shot on the probes. Mothership Core is out, Stalker's out as well, and he's just going to go hide up here on the high ground and then run away. Oh, we can stay up there, actually. It looks like Avenge doesn't realize. Well, if it goes up there, the Reaper will just go down. Twilight Council goes down for Avenge, so it looks like we're going to see a Blink Stalker play.
Yeah, and Blink Stalker, if you execute it well, is such a strong build. I really, really love it. Especially with the Mothership Core, it's just so awesome to see it. Now suddenly you have a new unit that grants you vision onto the high ground.
Oh no, though, but he's going to be scouted. I cannot believe he went through with the build after seeing the Reaper. It's kind of just like, well, you know you're not going to be able to get away with this one. He might go into DTs now as a result, instead of going for Blink.
But don't you think that Fantasy will be ready for DTs? I mean,
well, he should be.
The first thing that goes through Fantasy's head right now is probably, well, you're starting with the Twilight Council here, so it's either going to be a Blink opening or you go into DT. So if I prepare for both, that should be fine here.
Yeah. And it is going to be Blink still, but it's going to be not an all-in timing. It's just going to be a later timing attack that we're probably going to see.
Oh, with those Stalkers, he can do so much. There is no bunker.
Yeah, no Widow Mine ready just yet.
That is actually awesome for him. He can do so much pressure, has a really good grasp here, and takes down another SCV.
Yeah, not able to get that one Marine, but he does weaken it. Uh-oh!
Should have seen the Widow Mine, though. Keeps outside of the range, and he's still in range of the supply depot.
This is so annoying for Fantasy. He could try to bait the Stalkers in with his Marines, but he knows it's probably not going to work.
That's a pretty cool move here. I really like this. The early aggression of Avenge pays off. The bunker was a bit too late, and now he can take down maybe one of the supply depots. Not quite, the SCV is there, but he can work at the Marines.
He may want to recall to save that. Well, he can do this as well.
Takes down another Marine at least. One Marine. Did he see the Widow Mine? Yes, he did.
And Fantasy's scanned. He saw that there are a bunch of gates are being added. He knows that this attack is still coming. He does not know there's a second Nexus, but he knows the aggression is definitely there. Oh, this is a mistake. Ouch.
Yeah, if he waited a little bit longer, he could have just blinked away. The blink micro against Widow Mines is awesome. Talking about Widow Mines, Widow Mine dropped to the bottom right now.
No detection.
Yep, no detection indeed.
You know, detection. What happened to that Marine?
Dark Shrine.
Dark Shrine I find to be an interesting choice after he's committed so much to this. He's just really trying to damage Avenge and then or rather Fantasy anyway.
Oh,
He's not paying attention. Oh, could have been worse. But
Only 3.
Hopefully he knows this time, because if he didn't notice this, there's going to be a second wave that happens to him as well.
Yeah, you know what? We have now still no expansion for Fantasy, whereas the expansion for Avenge is already done. The supply depot goes down, the second one. He's targeting down the reactor right now. This is so much pressure by Avenge, and Fantasy is supply blocked.
He's going to lose his reactor as well. Fantasy seems to be really struggling with dealing with this style. That was a really poor blink.
What about the Widow Mine at the bottom right, though? Most of the probes are now at the natural. Only 1 additional kill, 4 in total.
But he's really not mining from his main base all too much.
3 orbital commands for Fantasy, but he can't mine from his natural.
Very even game here. The Dark Shrine could be something that turns things into Avenge's favor, depending on how he utilizes that.
And talking about the Dark Shrine, you still didn't see it. Even though the Widow Mine is very close, it's not in vision of the Dark Shrine.
Yeah.
And here come the DTs.
2 of them.
3 orbitals, though. A lot of scans available.
Yeah, 3 orbitals, and he's got the ability to just... as long as he sees them, there's no way he can hide this. There's no way he can split them, you know what I mean? Unless he sends one and then forces a scan and sends the second one very delayed. That's the best he could hope for. This Widow Mine will go down.
Yeah, we have Avenge in a pretty decent position here. He's going for more and more probes. He's still mining from 2 bases, has the better income in this situation. The DT is not doing too much here, just trying to contain. He can use the time warp. Needs to stay outside the range of the siege tank, and he does.
That was cool, though. I like that a lot. Picks off the reactor once more. He could even go in and do it again.
It's annoying for Fantasy, though. Fantasy is in a position where he can't really walk down the ramp. There would be a time warp, and immediately those Stalkers with a bit of micro can do a lot of damage, not even talking about the DTs. Yeah. Now he's pushing down with the siege tanks at the front.
He notices the DTs, I'm pretty sure. I think he's just going to scan and kill him. He actually does not notice.
No, he didn't see them earlier.
This is crazy. I cannot believe he doesn't notice those. I mean, if you notice observers, you should be able to notice something like this. Maybe he's in the heat of the moment.
Avenge is pulling quite ahead in this game. Oh, now the DT in the main base maybe can even take down one of the siege tanks. Here we go. And... close.
He was hoping that maybe the splash damage of the other tank would kill it with the scans. It didn't work out that way, but still, a lot of damage done, and the second DT is delaying this command center from going down.
This is so annoying for Fantasy. He just can't get this natural up and running.
I would love to see him go onto that high ground.
Yeah,
with the
exactly.
Stalkers.
Just blink up the high ground, walk down the ramp, try to get close, maybe even force another liftoff and then retreat onto the high ground again, blink down, save the Stalkers.
Yeah, you can go back there where the mineral line is and start harassing those SCVs even. Fantasy's finally been able to secure this location down here. And
here
he's doing just what we're talking about now. Time warp goes down, so the Marines can't really approach very easily.
Losing the mothership core here. Nice blinks, though, doing a lot of damage. There is still a lot of damage done. We have 2 bases now for both players. The first Colossus is out for Avenge. He's going into Double Forge, adding the range upgrade. And now the drop play starts to come in.
Yeah, Avenge basically forcing some medevac energy to be used. You can see him really pull ahead in supply now. He's got the double forges, and it looks like he wants to take a 3rd Nexus very soon. He's poised to do so. I'm
surprised that we have no units in position to intercept the drop. This is the first thing that he should have suspected here.
Yeah, it looks like he just did not notice. He's shown a little bit of lack of awareness in his main base.
Well, the Marines are still going strong, but here comes the DT. And the Dark Shrine is always so useful. I mean, you can just warp in one DT to make sure that your opponent's drops are not be that effective to clear them out. But
especially with no stim and no combat shields.
Exactly. So, with no combat shield, we have a Marine being a one-hit.
Well, this is really weird that he missed this medevac. Now he's finally going to get it. Maybe, actually, not even quite.
At least he gets the Marines.
That was really strange, but ouch.
But just look at the supply. We have a supply lead right now, which also is a result of Fantasy not really using his mineral bank at this point. But the problem for him really is the tech. We have Colossus already in the game, +1/+1 has been started. Fantasy without combat shield and stim can't really do too much damage. He's moving out now into a more aggressive position. Wants, of course, those upgrades to finish first before he does anything where he commits to.
Yeah. Fantasy needs to be hitting his depots, and he is having a bit of a trouble with that in this game. I think that's also contributing to why he has so many minerals right now.
And then no Vikings. We have 2 Colossi, even more on the way, not a single Viking.
Yeah, siege tanks alone are not really going to cut it against the type of composition with Blink, and also Charge almost coming out here. It's almost ready. I appreciate this, though. I really like trading some hit points on the siege tank for some shields, because those siege tank shields or siege tank armor is not going to just regenerate itself.
Third base now coming in on all great position here. The siege tanks are not sieged up. Good force fields taking out 2 tanks, most of the bio forces, and Fantasy is falling far behind in the game.
Fantasy is in trouble here. He's losing the medevac. The Stalkers are on the chase. Good pickup though.
Fantasy sending a silent prayer to the heavens. Thank God for speed boost.
Yes. He's actually just writing a personal letter to David Kim. But
Dear David.
Davey, I've often longed to send you a letter like this. It was only when I realized I could save my siege tanks that I decided to fully commit. This is a bit awkward because he has units in place, but they can't cover everything. The Stalkers could just go to the south part of the base, which they are now going to do. He misses the medevacs though. Now he's starting to go on the intercept path.
I'm a little bit surprised that we don't see one of his observers in the pathway here. This is the one path where you would expect to see dropships. So he has the overseer observer count, so why not use it?
Yeah, it's a bit of an oversight. DT's still in place, but he's going to want more than that. The scan goes down immediately.
The warp in is there, but it will only delay. And here finally the Colossi, they can push this back. No problemo.
He will lose a few of his bio forces, but he's in a good spot back there. I like that. He waits till the last second to boost out and boosts in the opposite direction you would expect.
He just attacked his own gateway.
Yes. Wasn't going to say anything, but you know, yeah.
Nice attack here on the third base. The Nine mining bit on. Ooh. That High Templar was really annoyed.
Before that Templar joined the Conclave, he was actually a sharpshooter. That was pretty insane. I mean, how much did it feel? You warp in from another planet, and the first thing you see, like this, it's like you're being born. You're like coming out of hyperspace. You come into the warp, and then instantly you just feed back a medevac that's super far away, perfectly with precision.
I actually read somewhere that High Templars are just zealots that smoke too much weed, which always leaves me wondering why they are this good with their targeting with the feedback.
Yeah, it's a good question, man. Maybe
they
some
seem
heightened
always
senses.
on time, especially when you have parting playing. Not really what I expect from someone who smokes too much.
Well, they're pushing for legalization on ire, but it's hard to get that through the Conclave, you know.
I think that's why they warp in here.
Exactly. They're trying to get out. Well, here comes the attack, and I'm not sure if Fantasy can hold. He's got a very premature stim here. He had to do it, though.
Good shots against the Vikings. He needs to reduce the Viking count as much as possible. Still a 30 supply lead here for Avenge. The Protoss player really doing a good job here. He sees the medivacs. Can he blink in? And yes, he will. Takes down one medivac. Can he get the second?
Yep.
Certainly looks like it.
Should get both here.
Blink,
We'll blink
blink,
again.
blink.
Boom. And Fantasy down now 50 supply, quite literally.
Yeah, that does not look good at all. Fantasy with a great game on map number 1, but in the second game, it is the Avenge show.
Yep, this is going to be it. He does not have enough units. Storm's even going down, hitting every single bio unit there. Second Storm hits even more.
GG! The Storms are good, the Colossi, they dish out the damage, and Avenge takes game number 2, forcing a third game in the series.
You can see a lot of stress off his shoulders after that win. You can see this little silent celebration where he's got almost smiles. He puts his hands together.
And then he remembers Startail players don't smile.
Yeah, he's like, no, I didn't mean to.
Well, it's actually not true. Life smiles all the way, especially when he doesn't know what to say.
Exactly. Well,
Fantasy with a great performance in game number 1, as already mentioned, but now in the second game, Avenge played a very good match, so now we're heading into our third game very soon. But that was a great series. I mean, think about it. We had the early scout by Fantasy already, so he knew Twilight Council opening, but still Avenge was able to do so much.
yeah, he really, really did. He picked off so many of those depots. Fantasy had a really big problem with his supply in this game, and I think it kind of got messed up from the beginning with all the depots he lost. Lost his reactor multiple times, tried to remake it in the same spot, and the Stalkers are blinking away after picking it off. Really careful control.
And all that started with the move out 2 Stalkers and 1 Mothership Core. the bunker not done at the front, and therefore suddenly Fantasy losing Marines against the Time Warp and the Stalker aggression, losing the 2 supply depots, being trapped in his own base. There was a complete contain for such a long time, and then the DTs moving in, doing a little bit of damage, even delaying the natural a little bit further. Very well done here by Avenge, and I'm really curious to see what we are going to see in game number 3.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a really close series.
I want to know what the map is too, something we don't know just yet, but I'm excited for this because we've seen now that Fantasy can do really good openings, aggressive openings with his Widow Mines, but at the same time we have Avenge going for crazy tech, and I wonder if we're going to see in the game 3 just kind of a more straight up even game between the 2 players.
Daybreak is going to be the map Terran versus Protoss. We are heading into the 3rd game. Avenge seems to be ready. Fantasy as well. He was already in Codes once. He wants to go back to Codes, but don't forget, whoever wins this round, the next map, will face Flash in the 3rd round.
Yep, so either a TVT or a PVT coming up in that 3rd round to decide who goes back into Codes.
The starter player showing really a lot of promise here, but Fantasy on the other hand, a great Terran player, and he was caught off guard in game number 2. How is he doing in game number 3? How will he do? We're gonna find out right now, jumping into the game on Daybreak here, the GSL Korea with Colin Wolf.